Now playing the Hook and Bridge podcast.
I fucking love Kesha. I'm telling you, I'm the worst person to have a podcast. I can barely speak.
Oh my god, I love Green Day!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Harley, joined by my co-host and little sister, Taylor.
Hello.
And today, we have super special guests on. We're doing this live from Bohemian Amigos with Erik, Doug, Logan. I knew I was going to fuck that up.
The bass player always gets forgotten.
The Dragtones, guys. Come on.
Dragtones. Or just Dragtones.
Just Dragtones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just Dragtones.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't hate that either. So it was Lost Dragtones, right?
It was Lost Dragtones. It originally started as Erik and the Dragtones 30-some years ago. And through every inclination of the band, the name has changed mildly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Erik and the Dragtones. At one point, it became the Dragtones. At one point, we changed the whole name to Sin City Gamblers. And then when I moved down here to Hampton from D.C., it was decided upon we were going to be Lost Dragtones. And now we're done with all of that bullshit. And we're Dragtones. And I feel comfortable with that name. I'm standing here. I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to die on this hill.
I love it. I think Dragtones is simplistic. It gets the original message across from the original band, right? You can still reference back.
Right.
So let's talk about, because you guys are new to the band.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the history of the Dragtones. Tell me how it started. Where did the whole thing begin?
Rewind the clock. All right, so let's go back a few years. In the late 80s into the early 90s, I started playing with a band called the Go Cats USA in Frederick, Maryland, and we had some mild success. And after that band kind of disintegrated, as we all do when we're young. I'm like 21 or whatever it is, the band falls apart. And kind of toiling for a little bit. And then I end up meeting Billy Lee Riley from Sun Records and worked with him. But the spinoff from that was I was kind of lost after working with Go Cats and then Billy and wondering what I was going to do. And I was like, well, it's time for me to put a band together. And somewhere along, I wanted something ubiquitous, rockabilly / punk kind of name, that thing. I don't know where Dragtones came from. But so in 1993, I believe Dragtones were the first Dragtones, even though you'll find a lot of the Dragtones and those other types of things on the internet. I believe we were the first one.
What was like your music inspiration on the first iteration of the Dragtones?
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Literally coming out of the gates, I'd been courted by some record labels, and was asked to record a live record to give to a major label, and of course, I'm 22 years old. So I recorded a really, really live record, really, really drunk. And then at the end of the record, I really, really flipped the bird to all the major labels, including the ones that I was being courted by. I made a song called Fuck Those Fuckers. And you can imagine the label that rhymes with Fuck Those Fuckers were something. Brothers, maybe. Anyways, it was kind of targeted at them for the record deal that I was being offered. And so I sent them a live record. Here's the live record you asked me to do. And immediately got you're out, and a cease and desist on the song. But it's on a record. I just had to delete out. I didn't have to delete "fuck those fuckers" out of the song. I had to delete the record label's name out of the song.
Right.
A warning from a couple of brothers.
Yeah, right. So it goes, "Fuck those fuckers," beep. So that's where the Dragtones started. In the best, I went straight out and shot myself in the foot on stage. It was awesome. We've kept it up now for 33 years, I guess, 32 years.
So at that time in the 90s, Rockabilly was popping. I mean, that was like peak Rockabilly, especially like you said, 94, right? So right outside of the grunge movement.
We came out of the gate right about that that neo-billy renaissance there in the early 90s, 92. I was working with Go Cats. And so we did open for the Stray Cats at the time, and we were kind of sheltered at that point. We were limited with our money and where to travel, and so we ended up in Richmond playing a little bit and here and there. And the band just kind of petered itself out ultimately. But yeah, we came up in that market, played with some great people back then, knew all the really cool Go Cat Go from DC and Robert Gordon. Like I said, the Stray Cats we did an opening for down here, Peppermint Beach Club in Virginia Beach. And so we were just, I don't know, we just kind of lucked into this crossover rockabilly punk scene at the time. And that's what we were. We were punks that kind of became rockabilly because we were just bored with what was going on in the punk scene at the time because grunge took over, I guess, I think, I mean. And so it was this new avenue of really cool shit to go play that people 35 years ago, rockabilly isn't as old as it is now.
Right.
So it was kind of still happening at the time.
So at that time, like, what were the bands that you were put up against? Like, you would have come up at the same time as bands like Primus, right?
Yeah. And right. And there's
Social D's a great
Social Distortion in 93, I think 93, and somewhere between Heaven and Hell tour at the old 930 Club. So we were involved. I mean, we were wrapped up in that DC scene by default because that's where we were from, up in that area. So we did get, that stuff, but the local scene, the local stuff out of DC, Wayne Hancock's and Robert Gordon's, Go Cat Go, as I mentioned earlier. Link Ray was from down this, Fredericksburgish area and stuff, even though he was born in North Carolina. So you had this, like, kind of rockabilly circuit that was going on at the time, and we were based outside of DC in Winchester, Virginia. It was like Patsy Cline's hometown. So we had all these like really cool rootsy influences going on for us coming into it.
Right.
That we were even unaware that we were even headed towards rockabilly. It was never a conscious choice. It was just, I got rid of the mohawk and what the fuck do I do with my hair now? So it went back instead of forward. And I was like the Atomics. God bless the Atomics from Washington, D.C. Tommy Burns and his brother had this great band called the Atomics. And we played with them a good little bit. I'm trying to think. This is so long ago. So much drugs and so much booze. There was a great magazine called Cattails out of a fanzine called Cattails. Greg Maluski was the guy that did the magazine, and he actually did some reviews of us, and he kind of helped us pop off the map, and then we ended up sending some records to Europe and popped off a little bit over there. Yeah, I don't know, it's just a mixed bag of just, we accidentally got there.
Right.
And then accidentally recorded a couple songs that the kids liked. And I'm still playing the same fucking songs. Man, don't worry. It's taken me 30 years to master them.
So, speaking of the booze and the drugs,
Right?
Rockabilly is the most rock and roll, especially at that time. Putting on shows, Rockabilly shows, the only way you were building an audience was to have some sort of wild shit on stage.
Yeah, there's that part of the whole mess.
So what was the Dragtones shtick?
So the Dragtones ultimately became like kind of up in that area. We were like the Friday and Saturday night party band, but we didn't play covers. We played some covers. Everybody loves Wagon Wheel. But so we were doing this thing where we go out and do this like double set at night and played like the local yokel bar or whatever. In the first half of the first set, I played my music. I made you listen to all my shit before I got to the covers. And the second set was all the covers, and I really think people sat through my songs just to get to the covers. But I trained them, you know. It was funny. But yeah. So it was drinking and booze and partying, and it was hectic.
What was like the wildest thing you guys did on stage? Was there any like eating of animals or some? I mean, stand-up bass is iconic for Rockabilly.
Well, we never had a stand-up bass player. I don't like stand-up bass in my band.
Mm-hmm.
Stand-up bass in other people's band is fine, but it's clickety stuff. And I was always more of an Eddie Cochran guy, and Eddie Cochran always had an electric bass player. So all those great songs, Cut Across Shorty and Oh Boy, and those things that he did, Summertime Blues, that was all electric bass. And that was where my heart was. It was kind of that surfier, a little bit of surfier feel, and we still doing a little bit of surf. But yeah. What was the question again? Jesus Christ!
What's the craziest?
What's
thing?
the craziest?
Oh, the craziest thing on stage. Oh, wow. Man, there's stories that will be told in, up near Winchester, Virginia, about my bass player walking in with a parrot on his shoulder and playing the gig with a parrot on his shoulder, hanging with the Murder Junkies for a night and playing with them, playing with Murphy's Law. I mean, we drank so much, I don't remember all of it. You know, I don't remember what the craziest thing. It was all crazy. Playing with Dex Romweber, the Dead Milkmen. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. It was just always a really good time. I think I kind of romanticized the booze and the drugs, and it wasn't so much that it was booze and drugs as it was sitting around socializing with these other kick-ass musicians,
right,
and just having a few beers. And it feels like we were drunk the whole time.
You're right.
Because now I'm old. One beer gets me drunk.
And
then there's Doug, my whiskey whore over here. He brings me whiskey.
So you're in the band now. I don't know anything about you. Tell me.
He's a killer story, man.
Tell me about your music journey, man. How did we get here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been playing music for well over 30 years. Hail from foothills of North Carolina, Winston-Salem area.
Yeehaw.
I was inundated into music as a child. My dad was a drummer. My mom, she sang, she played piano, and they had their own gospel band that I probably have been into every single church that you can think of up and down the Eastern Seaboard, as they were in a band for like 20 some years. And
sorry, we have fruit flies in here. They're free for the.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yeah, John Murray let the fruit flies in today in my shop.
Yeah, so that was a huge impression on me. So singing in the car, singing in the house, singing with my mom at the piano, understanding percussion from my dad was always a huge thing. And so when it came time to get into like middle school, and it was like, hey, which direction do you want to go in? I knew that I wanted to play percussion. And coming through high school, it was always sports and music for me. And I was really thinking about enlisting. And my brother is 4 to 5 years older than me. And he comes back from the Navy and he's like, you're not going in. You're not going to do this thing. I've been playing guitar the whole time that I've been gone. We're going to start a band. He bought me my first drum set. It was a real exciting time. And so he got with his, friends from high school. They're all 4 to 5 years older than me. And here I am, this youngin', like playing drums in this really cool band. We were called Float with a W at the time. And we're kind of like,
where was the W?
Well, flow.
Well, float is FLOAT, and this was FLOWT.
Float. It
I couldn't
does.
figure out where to put the W.
I was putting it at the front the whole time.
I know.
I was like, what?
Float wall. Killer name.
Yeah. I didn't come up with it.
It's no drag
I drew
tones.
the, I drew, you know, I drew the logo, while I was not paying attention in geometry because, everybody else was like graduated, did something else with their lives.
So that was the name of your first band?
Float. Yeah.
What was the name of your first band? I know he's getting to you,
Shit.
but don't remember.
Oh my god.
Wait for it.
Some heinous bullshit.
I'm going to help you out here. I played in a cover band in the Winchester, Virginia area. I was 15 playing professionally, and my band's name was, wait for it, Blue Steel.
Blue
think
Steel.
We
something
blew
close to
steel all
Vince
night
Staples
long.
right
I
there.
promise you.
I remember.
Blue Steel.
My first band, we had a couple, but we decided on Trailer Trash.
Oh,
And the
nice.
spot we used to play in, I played on a bass cab that was actually sold to us by the bass player for the Funk Junkies.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So have you ever played a show at a trailer park?
Nope.
Have you ever lived in a trailer park?
I played with the Dead Milkmen
But
at
I
a
drank a
trailer
lot of
park.
beer.
I think the
He's
trailer
from the
park was
South.
called Regency Lakes in Winchester, Virginia. And Joe Jack was such a nice guy, man. It was a cool show.
My first band and only band was called Sunset Boulevard.
That's not bad. That's not embarrassing.
What can I say, man? I'm good at coming up with names.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So when Sunset Boulevard getting back together?
Never.
Getting back together, man.
That name could go in so many different genre directions, man.
It always makes me think of System of a Down.
System up and down, yeah. Like,
So we were more of like a Three Doors Down.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Three whores down.
Three Doors Down.
I just
I
learned.
actually thought you said three whores down. I was like, fuck yeah, man.
I mean, here in Hampton, that would be like the new name. Three Doors Down.
Because there is no more three doors down.
Shout out to that lead singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going through it, man.
Survived
Oh,
cancer.
Yeah.
that's
He's
terrible.
stage
Yeah,
4.
you know, that
It's
was
horrible.
Yeah. That's
I never got to see them. I always wanted to.
He's kind of one of those. He's one of those. He's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
He's one of the
Yeah.
guys in the business. Been around for a long time. Just been. I can't remember his name. Saved my life.
Yeah, me either.
that's tough, man. Nobody deserves it.
Yeah, the cancer scare is a bitch. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Been there, done that once.
So
You
you,
mentioned Primus earlier. I mean, like someone like Tim Alexander had that brain.
oh yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Herb.
Yeah, so he just got swapped out. They had that
Yeah.
audition thing. It was fun.
Well, he quit.
yeah.
Didn't Primus have some other issues happen recently too? Or no, that wasn't Primus. That was Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. Yeah.
Or no, not Judas. Was it Judas Priest?
I don't know.
No, not Judas Priest. I'm thinking of somebody else.
You know what's funny about Judas Priest is the day it
Mastodon.
answered all the questions. Who was it?
Mastodon.
Mastodon.
Brett Hines, yeah.
Brent Hines.
No, this was who sings "Caught Stealing"?
Jane's Addiction.
Jane's Addiction. They just
Oh,
had a major. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Dave
Perry
Navarro had
Farrell
a
drank a lot of red
little
wine.
spat on
He's
stage.
Jane's Addiction. Sorry. Yeah.
He clearly drinks too much wine, and that
Yeah.
should explain the whole thing.
They call it drinking.
Like drinking once when I was 5.
So Logan, let's jump over to you now.
Okay.
So Doug is your dad.
That was my father.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't asking age things.
I got an old soul.
So
Yeah.
so
It happens.
so how did this come about for you?
Yeah, so for me, I grew up in North Carolina until I was about 11, 12 years old. We moved up here to Virginia. So we were actually working at a church during that time. And it was a really interesting thing for me because I grew up wanting to be involved in music, but lacking that integrity to be able to be disciplined enough to be trained, like by somebody like my father. Like my dad would always try to teach me something. I'd be like, "I get out of here." So I would never.
I don't know
really
what that's
stick.
like.
Yeah.
We're all stubborn in our own ways.
Yeah, so I was very stubborn in that way, but so just to kind of bridge that, everything I do is I'm completely self-taught, and whether it's theory or just experience in playing. But when we moved up here, when we got in the church, I'd already kind of picked up drums in that time. I started playing drums in that church. Drums for me, I can play anything under the sun, everything from like Meshuggah and that kind of crazy stuff to like pop punk. I've played it all. But for bass, when we got in that church environment, they had a couple laying around, and I would always kind of pick it up and started to play it, and it kind of just stuck for me. And it was one of those things where I was like, if I want to be able to create music or be able to hold down a rhythm section, I want to be able to incorporate every element. So I got really heavy in the bass for a while, which was really influenced by bands like Muse, Chris Wolstenholme, like all those like sort of guys that were very like
Knights of Sidonia,
technical in their own sort of way. Obviously, you know, you got guys like Jocko that I would always. So I have a fretless that I play. I like a lot of sort of some of those like just very particular runs that I try to incorporate, just not to be like overwhelming, but just to kind of tie it in. But that's something that's kind of like slowly burned for me over time. Ever since I was about 12 years old, I've kind of just slowly picked that up. So through those times, I've joined bands and played various instruments and kind of just grew into my own sort of shape. And now I'm kind of like hoard out to anybody who will pick me up.
Well,
so.
you picked the right band, but now you're boring.
But specifically getting into this band, you know, they kind of had a spot to fill, and I'd already become friends with Erik at the time. And I'd always come in here a couple times and hang out, and it was always a fun thing because
the band.
Yeah, they were already in the band.
It was a pretty easy phone call to make. Hey, buddy, you think your son's available?
Like a knock on his door.
So you mean to tell me you come to the shop all the time, and, and you became friends with Erik, and you've never listened to our show, not once?
Nope. That's my fault.
That's fucked up.
That's my fault. Or it's Eric's fault.
It's my fucking
Who are we putting the blame on?
I'll take the blame.
Yeah.
Listen, man, there's a lot going on in the world today, all right? We got politics and religion and hook and bridge.
Yes.
Got a new pope.
And so I'm going to reverse interview them really quick here and tell you how I met them. So when I opened the shop and Harley came in, his wife, and I eventually met you after that. You are just like super interesting people that did something really cool.
Oh, thanks, man.
And you just always come in with a big smile on your face. You're dope people, man. It's
Hell
always
yeah.
nice to see y'all. My wife talks highly of you. My kid knows you. I mean, when my kid remembers you, it's something, you know.
You're right.
She doesn't remember who her daddy is.
I remember.
I'm not sure she knows who her daddy is.
I remember day
Sorry,
one.
Brooke.
Day one coming in here, and I saw her going around and like facing records and reorganizing stuff. I was like, damn, they got a little tiny girl in here working, and she probably knows far more about music than I ever will.
Doesn't earn a dime.
No, you know. So that was the day that we opened, and she was in here working. She worked 8 hours at the cash register. Here's what happened, just so you know. I had to blackmail her.
I remember this.
My wife and I promised her that if she came to opening day and worked with us, that we would buy her parakeets. And now she has a parakeets.
Parakeets?
Damn it, they're loud.
Now I know the story.
Yeah. So she came here, and my daughter, and we didn't know that it was going to pop off the way it did. We didn't know that the shop was going to go this well, to be honest with you. My thought was we might be well out of business in 6 months. But, you know, shit, we made it.
People love music.
We came in here that very first day. It was a Friday. We opened on a Friday on purpose because we didn't want to have a mad rush. We opened on Friday, and guess what we had?
A mad rush.
Fucking rush.
It was
dude.
crazy.
And it was all day. And my kid stood at my cash register and rang out every last person. And one time, it got quiet for a minute at about 4:30 in the afternoon. We opened at 11. It got quiet at 4:30. We had 15 minutes of quiet, and then all of a sudden, all these people came in, and she's standing behind the cash register. She looks at me and goes, "Dad, it's happening again." So now I have 2 parakeets and a big cage.
Because you can't just buy the parakeets.
Yeah,
You have to get the cage.
And
all
They
the-
have to eat.
Yeah, they have to eat whatever accessories.
And you know what else they do after they eat?
Oh,
They
yeah.
shit. A lot. Did you know that a parakeet shits every 15 minutes? I do. That's the real deal. But yeah. So, sorry, that was off.
No, that's awesome,
Cut
man.
off in there.
Let's talk about the new album.
The one coming up, or the one that just
The one that just came out.
Okay. Well, so the Dragtones recorded one full-length record originally in 1993. They got sent to the record labels, and it's live. there has never been a full-length record recorded since then. Over the years, we've done this EP and that EP and this EP and that EP. What I did was I compiled the best songs from all of the recent EPs, and I put out basically a best of 7-song CD that we're going to give away pretty much. If you want one, I'll tell you what, just send me a text message. Just go to my website. Just hit me at my shop.
Go to the website.
I will mail you a CD. I do not care where you are. It will show up. Swag. If you want it signed, we'll definitely put our mushroom stamp on it and everything for you. We'll line them up. Chunk.
Extra $80.
That's no problem. But so this is kind of an in between. We had these EPs out, and band members have changed, and I feel like we've kind of settled here. Doug and I have gotten really close, and Logan has been a freaking-tastic addition to the band.
Hell yeah.
But I think we're settled now, and I think finally, after 32 years, we're going to record a full-length record again.
Hell yeah.
And this guy, Mr. Logan, he's going to engineer and produce it. I'm giving up the reins finally because I'm a lazy bastard.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So on this one you just released, I gotta thank you. My name's on the back of it.
Oh, that was the EP before that.
Oh, okay.
We had one come out.
Literally,
today for Friday.
last
It came
week.
out today. It was just released on Apple Music.
Oh,
Today,
hell yeah.
For Apple.
Yeah, it just hit today. It's called Jalapeno Hot Rock. It's a 7-song best of. But the other one, the EP, that EP is on this.
Yeah.
Yes, I did name y'all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're the first ones on the thing. I had no idea.
It's
Lindsay
one of the
showed it
first
to me.
ones.
I was like, that's
I mean,
fucking awesome.
You were one of the first new people we met in Hampton. We went through the fucking pandemic and moved down here in 2020 and sat inside of our fucking house for 3.5 years before we came over here. We're killing them fruit flies. Sorry about that microphone.
I killed 8 before they got here.
Yeah. They get one of those. What are those fucking plants called?
The Venus
flytraps.
flytraps. Yeah.
Phoebe Seymour.
I was like
Feed
an
me all night.
autistic
Yeah.
for 30 minutes before y'all got here.
I don't know. It's that John Murray, man. He brings them to the shop. He brings them things from Norfolk. I think all fruit flies start in Norfolk, and those people drive and bring them through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And
they bring
release
them
them in my
through
shop.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
That's why they're so aggressive.
I mean, I got my beer covered over here. They're so bad.
I got my wallet on mine. Yeah.
Listen, Hampton has a lot of great stuff to offer, and fruit flies are one of them.
One of us. One of us.
It's just that time of the season.
No, the EP sounded fantastic. Guys were as tight as ever. I'm really excited about this new one. I'm really excited that you're going to be producing it. That's pretty fucking cool.
That's a
I'm
passion of
super
mine, for
stoked.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I told them they got to record all the shit, and then I'll just go over there and put my guitars on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'll
hell
howl
yeah.
into a microphone, and I'll go home.
Dude,
and I expect him to make it sound great.
I want to do a solo album. People have been asking me to do a solo album
Do
for
it.
years. I don't have the time and the money.
Well,
I'll be as cheap as you want. We'll work through it.
between him
It's
and
a
me,
process.
I'm pretty sure that you can come over to my house and record it. I'll send him the stems.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he can work on it. We'll
Absolutely.
work your way through it.
Okay.
Locals helping locals.
Yeah.
Do like Dan, 4 songs, and then go win the Veer Award folk artist of the year.
Yeah.
First shot out of the bag here in Hampton.
Fogle
Hey,
Boy.
I'm very much
No
a
offense
beer
to Dan, but I think I'd knock him out of the water.
Yeah. Well,
No, Dan's great, man. But
killer, man.
I did his open mic, and everybody at that bar was like, "Where have you been?"
why didn't you tell me you were going?
I didn't tell anybody. It was my first time playing live in 8 years.
He was
Oh,
skilled.
wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not
Did you
telling a
shit yourself a
soul.
little bit when you were there?
A little bit. It wasn't even that. I was perfectly fine. I'm great in front of strangers. But then one of the guys that comes into work every day showed up at the bar. And I was like, fuck.
you
And he
walked in.
he recorded it. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
It was so good though.
It was all right.
I
He did
believe in
really
you.
good.
Okay, so the next time you go there, I'm coming.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm going to invite
I don't know
everybody.
if you know Ron Smith, who's down here too. He hangs out at the shop. He was the DJ
Yeah.
in the water.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So he's getting ready to go up and do Dan's open mic too.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm going to be making some treks back up to the boulevard. I haven't been up there to see Dan in a while. I need to go support
Yeah.
him a
Doing some
little bit better.
acoustic singer songwriting.
Yeah.
You ever want to go up there and drink a beer on a Wednesday night? Let me know.
That bar's
Catch an Uber.
that bar's nice, dude. I like that spot. It's a good spot.
They got
Yeah,
mad ass fried green tomatoes at the Boulevard Pub.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Mad
Interesting
fried
choice.
green tomatoes, and their burgers are good. And I've had all their stuff, but I'm always drunk when I'm there.
That's like if you
I
ever
played in that joint.
if you ever hit the
Oh,
big
really?
board
Yeah.
and then brown chicken, brown cows right there. You're like,
Oh yeah.
let me just slide it.
Yeah.
I go to Venture.
a
I like
great burger.
Venture.
Venture's fantastic.
The problem is, here's why I've never eaten anywhere else but Venture. They have fucking square tater tots.
yeah.
God, Jesus Christ. Tater tots are on everything down there. I'm like, give me a whiskey. They're like, how many tater tots? I'm like, two or three cubes. I'm fine. Fuck yeah.
Depends on they
Just
going
sit
in
down.
the drink.
Get a little buzz on. Eat tater tots. And God damn, there ain't nothing. Jesus, man, there ain't nothing better than liking that, you know? I mean, tater
I mean,
tots
that's a
and
level
booze.
up.
That's
Every
getting
front.
clipped and put on YouTube. that right there, that was the funniest fucking thing.
Venture, give me your
Man.
tots.
Dude, the top. Venture Restaurant. Listen to me. I'm throwing a shout out to you. I don't do this for restaurants, but I'm telling you, those tater tots are fucking amazing. They make the
Sell our
poutine
souls.
tater
Give us free
tots.
tater tots.
They make the jalapeno tater tots.
Oh, yeah.
They make all the tater tots.
Tell me more, Forrest Gump.
Tater tot kebabs. Tater
Tater
tot
tots,
sandwiches.
soup,
Mama almost told me life was
fried
like a box of
tater tots, boiled tater tots.
Shit.
Man, God bless America. I do have a copy of Forrest Gump soundtrack in here.
It's a great soundtrack.
It's
It is,
one of the
man.
best movie soundtracks of all time.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
It's up there.
It's just got every fucking hit from like
It does.
the
It's not better than
80s,
the
70s,
Big
80s,
Chill.
60s.
And when the CD came out
No
back in the
sound-
day, it
no
was super
soundtrack
cool
better
because
than
it was like this big jewel case.
Yeah.
You're like
We need
four
to bring
CDs
back
in that
good
jewel case.
soundtracks.
Super cool. Dude.
Gosh, like Queen of the Damned had like all those. Like,
all
Zombie
the
Death
and Korn was on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's even like 90s.
The Crow soundtrack.
Crow soundtrack.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Cure on it, Helmet, like,
Rage Against the
Rage Against the
Machine.
Machine.
Dude, Helmet, man. Talk about a band that just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Love Helmet.
So
you know,
good.
Massive
They're
fans.
still
Goddamn
touring.
good.
Yeah.
still
Walk
touring.
away.
They're huge.
Age
My
Hamilton.
ass. I'll be back when I'm good and ready. And that is fine by me.
They had canceled
We're
an
waiting,
entire US
obviously.
tour.
Who was the band that had the song "Hey Man, Nice Shot"?
Filter.
Filter. That's
Yeah.
another one that
Just
just.
saw them this year.
We just
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they opened for Jerry Cantrell.
Really?
Yeah, they were
Over at the
fantastic.
Norva?
They played. What
No
you call
shit.
It was great.
Oh,
It was
what did
fantastic.
They played
Trip Like I Do.
Trip Like I Do. Yeah.
They played. Did they
Picture?
play Jurassitol?
No, they didn't play Jurassic Hall, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Eric loves this. He's a real big '90s guy.
Now listen, I'm going to bring this up because I got me some VIPs to go see Everclear at the Norva.
Shut up.
What?
I might invite you if you're nice to me. Because one of my
So
dreams
nice to
is
him.
to meet Art. Oh, yeah, Dick shaking.
You want to meet him? I met him.
Yeah.
We interviewed him.
Oh, well, I want to
Oh,
meet
really?
him, man.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Like, I want to hang out with Art
Me
for
too.
a while. He
Dude.
sang a lot of songs that talk. I mean, at that time in my life, it spoke to me really well. You know?
Me too.
And it was really well, how old were you in the '90s? 4?
Well, yeah. No, it's
Jesus Christ.
it spoke to me in high school. But so we had him on the show, and I love Art. I love Everclear. This
He's
is
a genuine. He's a real deal.
it's gonna come off as a dig, and I don't mean it to be.
Yeah.
So we set this up. It was supposed to be an hour show. Every one of our shows is an hour long.
Right.
He bailed. We rescheduled like 5 times. And then we finally get him on the show, and they were like, he can do 30 minutes. We ended up getting 22 minutes of his time, and he could not have been more or less interested. Like,
Well, I'm done with this fucking interview, dude. I'm on far too fucking long.
And I was like, I'm such a diehard Everclear fan, and I was trying to like tell him like how much his songs influenced my entire life, helped me deal with my dad and like my childhood trauma. And I tell him I'm bleeding my heart out to this guy, and he's just like,
He's like, I have
that's
to go.
cool. I
Teach guitar
gotta.
in 20 minutes.
No, that
Oh,
was
no,
that,
that
was
was-
Mayday
yeah,
Parade.
yeah.
No, he was going to get his wife a coffee. He was gonna go get his wife a coffee. He was like, "That's cool, man. I gotta go to Starbucks. So you deal with those thoughts, and I'll see you later."
Well, I can tell you something. That this band, we're so poor. We have no time for anybody but you right now. I guarantee you that.
No, it was awesome though. He's a hero of mine. It was so cool to sit down and talk to him, hear the stories of the songs that I grew up with, and he called me out on the song "I Want to Buy You a New Life."
Yeah.
I told him my theories on it. I was like, "This is what it means to me. What do you think?" And he was like, it's just a love song, man. Like, you dug way too deep. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
But that's what we do with you.
I was like, oh,
we make it
all
our
right.
own.
It's the
But-
most important
I
part.
like
Yeah.
writing songs about trailer parks, midget wrestling, maybe going to jail.
Hey, speaking of writing songs
Ended up
about
in the wrong church on the wrong Sunday. Oh, wait, it wasn't Sunday. Yeah.
Speaking of writing songs about wrestling and church and whatever else you said, you guys want to jump into this music?
Sure,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah, we're gonna have a live performance from Dragtones.
That's a great
Killer.
segue.
Thanks, man.
I hope we get.
He
a
set it up
1
and knocked it
minute
out of the park. Yeah, we'll definitely take a break.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop it right here, and we'll be right back with the Dragtones.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dragtones.
the only thing here are just all of these drugs. I'm dressed in my boots, I carry my gun. It's the only thing here that gets this done.
Hell yeah, I love that song.
Thanks for listening to the Hook and Bridge podcast.